Hello everyone, welcome along to Galleria. I'm Alice Worsley. Good to be back with you again today and to introduce to you some really interesting people. We've got quite a variety on the show today. We're going to be talking about property. We're going to be talking about limes. Now, of course, a lot of you are into lemons and oranges here in New Zealand, but what about limes and some fantastic products that limes can go into? And also animals, but animals with a difference, reaching out to people in the community. So lots on the program today. Do hope you can join me, and at the very end of the show we'll have all the contact details of the people who are with us today. Now, first up, we've got from Catalyst2 Tanya Kwaza, and she's back again to tell us all about this very interesting company, particularly if you're interested in property. Now, I thought let's just start talking about the company, because it's a very interesting company. Tell us a bit about Catalyst2.
Well, at Catalyst2, we're property strategists.
Right.
And what that involves, Alice, is meeting with people, looking at their current financial situations and looking at their long-term goals and making sure that they're financially prepared for their retirement.
Right, because this is something that a lot of people are not ready for, are they?
They certainly are not.
No, whether they're young or whether they're getting towards retirement age, a lot of people just haven't got enough money together to retire comfortably.
And I think a lot of people, their main focus is just looking at their investment, just looking at their homes, paying off their home mortgage. And they actually forget that there's going to be 20, maybe even 30 years of retirement. And the focus is not on that. And that's where I tend to bring people in, focus on what they need for their future.
Okay, so give us a bit of a background to you, because I know you've been involved in property for quite some time now.
I have. I grew up with it, Alice. My father was a property developer down in Christchurch, and I came back from a decade in Japan. I was on my own, raising a little boy, and thinking, what am I going to do to have my life organised and in a way I want to live it? So what I did, I got into property, and I built up my own portfolio. I got 6 properties on my own, and I've moved on from there.
Right.
And I actually started consulting on property when my son was a year old, and I've taken that knowledge, working for other companies, to start my own company in 2006.
Okay, so Catalyst2's been basically up and running for the last few years.
It has, yeah.
And you've actually been surviving very well in what's been a rocky time in the property market too, when you think the last 3 years things have been a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
And what you've obviously got for people is something that works and that's something people want more of.
Yeah. Definitely, Alice, you need to take the long-term perspective. There's always going to be ups and downs. There are cycles in everything in life, and property is not affected by it. And what's important is I've been here throughout the rocky period, and I'm here for my clients, and I want to continue working with my clients long-term over 10 to 15 years, building wealth slowly and conservatively over time. Okay,
so you're not just here for the sale of a property, it's a long-term relationship.
It certainly is, yeah.
Now, do you have to, as part of the business that you do you have associated professionals who can help fill out that complete picture of purchasing and investing in property?
Yes, absolutely. And for a lot of people, the most daunting thing about property is where do they start, who do they go, how do they get their structures in place? And that's why, for coming to me, I can assist them, because what I do is I link them up with professionals. Now, if they've already got a great accountant, I'll work with that accountant. I'll send through cash flows for them. If they're working with their bank directly, no problems at all. Although I do recommend certain mortgage brokers that are specialists and that are excellent. The same thing, if they've got a good solicitor, they go to their own solicitor. Otherwise, I'll recommend someone who's very reasonable on conveyancing and also who specialises in Housing New Zealand if they're looking at a Housing New Zealand property.
Okay. So, briefly describe to us what's involved with a consultation.
Right, with a consultation, what I do is I meet with my clients. I look at their financial situation. I look at their equity in their home and their income, their job stability. I also look at their social situation. I look at how many years they've got left in the workforce. I look at how many children they've got, their goals, when they want to retire, their lifestyle, their savings ability, their level of risk aversity. And once I've got a holistic idea of that person or that couple, from there I put a strategy into place that will work well for them.
Okay. So, and is that something that's done over a couple of get-togethers rather than just one? Or?
It is, yeah. Originally people contact me, I send out some information, then I meet them in their home, we have a consultation. From there I go back, I take the information, I consult with my team, which are accountants, financial strategist and also mortgage brokers, And from there, we put a strategy in place and we select properties that we believe are not going to stretch people financially,
Yes.
properties that are manageable for them, and properties that suit their wish list.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what kind of properties, briefly, would they be?
We have an array of properties. Generally, what I recommend is properties that are going to be hassle-free, and that's where a lot of people get daunted by investing in
Yes.
property. It's a nightmare. Sometimes tenants are a nightmare. Repairs and maintenance, I know that from my own portfolio, it can drive you insane. So again, I recommend brand new properties, brick and tile, and also properties with guaranteed rents or government rentals.
Fantastic.
Guarantees.
Well, I think there'll be a lot of people wanting to get in touch with you, so let's give them the 0508 number first of all, and also your website.
Okay, they can contact me on free phone 0508 Catalyst or my website www.co.nz.
Okay, www.catalyst2.co.nz.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So 0508 Catalyst or 0508 228 259, and the website with heaps of information, catalyst2.co.nz.